from the inside out. Still me from the inside out. Change me from the inside out. Reach me. Heal my heart, my soul, my mind. You have saved me just in time from the innermost parts. Touch my soul, take my hand, God, never let go. Heal my heart, my soul, my mind. You have saved me just in time from the innermost parts. Touch my soul, take my hand, God, never let go. Only you can save me. Only you can heal me. Only you can change me. Only you can reach me.
Are you an avid reader of urban fiction, looking for drama, suspense, and more? Readswell Publishing is dedicated to bringing the world's best literature to our readers. Urban fiction, erotica, sci-fi, mainstream fiction, and children's literature are just some of the genres produced by our diversified family of authors. You can reach us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and at our website, www.readswellpublishing.com.
This is author K-L. Davis, and I'm live on Tea Time with Lady T and Jerry Ross worldwide.
Don't delay, give it up, be strong and lift him up, 'cause he's the power of life. Lift him up, rain away, rain away, rain away, 'cause it's the last day. Don't look to the right, don't look aside. Jesus is coming, but I'm feeling. Jesus is coming, but I'm feeling. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look aside. Jesus is coming, but I'm feeling. Jesus is coming, but I'm feeling. Don't let nobody turn you around. Don't let and try to make you fall to the ground. Don't let. He got his protection. He got with direction. His love and affection. Don't delay, give it up. Be strong and lift him up, 'cause he's the power of life. Lift him up. Rain away, rain away, rain away, 'cause it's the last day.
Hey, thank you everybody for joining us, and welcome to Positive Power 21.org with tee-spence on Tea Time and Jerry Voice Live. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power 21? We are blessed to be here today, and my scripture is Philippians 4, verse 6. Don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. Tell God your needs, and don't forget to thank Him for His answers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight on the show we have an author from A Brother's Secret by author k-l-thornton, and we're happy to have her. And before we bring her on, we will read her bio. Her bio says, a native Alexandria, Virginia, author K.L. Davis is an Army veteran and mother of two. Make no mistake, though, life for this dynamic author has everything but easy. Having experienced her own addiction, incarceration, and recovery, Miss Davis has lived a life filled with the grit that many urban authors write about in their books. Perhaps this inside-out perspective is what fuels her impassioned character development and dramatic plots. It was most certainly the blueprint for her first novel, Lost Innocence, which she wrote in loving memory of her former pupil that died of a drug overdose during treatment. Miss Davis felt lost herself to turn to writing as an outlet. selling her novels independently, she managed to make a name for herself. Shortly after she established her own publishing company, Parks and Davis Publications, she has subsequently published 4 additional novels, including a sequel to her first venture entitled A Girl Called Nikki. Now, author K.L. Davis is inspiring young girls to not to make the mistakes that she made. She makes it her mission to help them discover their purpose and positive energy to serve on a higher platform of respect and integrity. All right. Who's making all that noise in my ear? While I'm trying to read?
That's me.
I'm on mute.
All right. Well, anyway, we on Tea Time with tee-spence from Hollywood, California. Welcome, T. How you doing tonight?
Hey, T.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm excited about our guest we have on the show today. She has a lot to talk about. She's experienced a lot, and, let alone that, how I am about giving back. So she's doing that also. So, I got some questions. I'm excited about Miss Thornton. She's the bomb.com. Yeah.
All right. K.L. Davis. First question is, who is K.L. Davis?
K.L. Davis is a person that wanted to conquer a lot of things. And in the process of doing these things, I sort of got lost. And over the years, I realized what had happened to put me in a place to get to the place that I am now. And the one thing that I always think back on is I took my eyes off of God for 1 second, and that was all it took to make my life spiral out of control. And it took just as much time to get reconnected with God and to be put in a positive place where I am today.
All right. That's awesome.
Yep. That is absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bio. All right, well, ladies, I'm going to sit back and listen to T take over the mic from Hollywood, California. My friend, my sister. Go ahead, T. Do your thing.
Well, when I read your bio, Kim, I really was definitely, it was like I told Jerry before, it was short, it was sweet, it was simple, but it packed a powerful punch. And you have went through amazing life challenges and trials and tribulations that I think that our listeners are going to be very, very, in tune with what you have to say and hopefully walk away from this having better knowledge of self and what you've went through and the things that you've accomplished. And not only that, be able to implement those kind of positive things into their lives to make them prosperous and grow. Yes, because you are outstanding. Okay, I'll just start off with this, okay, because you're an Army veteran, right?
Yes.
How long were you in the service for?
10 years in the Army.
Oh, wow. So my question with that was I was trying to figure out how to ask it in a way that, I wouldn't offend anybody, but just to keep it, straight and simple, but to the point. Was how did it feel you being a woman, first of all, in the service at that point in time, second of all, being a black woman in the service at that time, and did you feel that there was any type of bias towards, leaning more towards men than it was women, or was it like kind of a one for all and all for one type of environment?
I joined the military being defiant, and so after I got out of school, I went and I joined the military, not thinking that it was going to be what it was. A recruiter told me that I was going to get to go to Hawaii and sip pina coladas and sit by the and so he sold me.
Right.
I got on that bus and I got there and I was like, this is Fort Jackson. I don't see any water. There's no pina coladas, and the little tight jeans had to come off, and you had to pull your little long hair up, and it was like, what in the world is this? And I started asking that question, so where's the beach? And the people was looking at me like I was crazy, like, the beach?
Like, what? The beach?
Army. And I was like, okay, but the guy said I was going to the beach. I never found the beach, needless to say.
Really? In that 10 years, you never found the beach?
Never found it. I found Georgia in the summer.
I
needed a beach at that point, but I never got to the beach part. And so I had a lot. It took me a while to get adjusted because I came from, at that time, I was living in Washington, D.C. And as you know, Washington, D.C. moves just as fast as New York. And then you done took and put me down in the South, and the people were saying girl in place of girl. And I'm like, oh, okay. So first I had to get over the culture shock, and then the reality set in. You done signed up for 6 years, and you're going to be here for 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I felt mistreated off the top. So it didn't have anything to do with your color or your female or male. I felt bad off the top because I had signed up for something, and I had no idea of what I was signing up for.
Right, because they kind of misled you.
Yeah, it's not like I could have just turned around and came back home and said, let me try something else.
Right,
so I made the best of it. At some point, it began to be all right after I got over the basic training and, you know, I got to see some things. I met a lot of people and heard a lot of different people's stories, and I was like, oh, okay, so it seems like we all here by mistake.
Yeah.
That's what I chalked it up. We all here by mistake because everybody, all of the girls and the guys, the guys, they sort of knew. They was macho. But us women, we was like, okay, we was sort of looking for something else. And so I got used to it, but it took a while. It wasn't like an overnight thing. I had to go through some things, you know, to get to some things. But the overall, I loved it. I won't ever trade those experiences. And I use them. I have 2 kids, and so I use those with my children sometimes. Like, you guys could have never made it in the military.
Right.
You know, I have to remind them of that because they real quick to say, Mama, do you have? So I use that. So everything, it all worked out for me. Plus, I needed the discipline because I was just off the hook.
I was going to lead into that kind of because I knew you were coming from somewhere, but I wasn't sure about what life course you were on at that point in time. So I wanted you to kind of expand on that a little bit.
You know, when I was 9, I was molested by a family member. And so I tried to tell somebody about it, and they looked at me like I had 2 heads. Like, again, I
completely understand.
So what was done in your house was done in your house. Nobody knew about it if it wasn't in your house. And that was just the code. And then, like they say, it take a village to raise a child. Everybody raised us. And so I turned rebellious at 10 because I'm like the person that should have looked out for me didn't believe me when I was telling them what was going on. And so I sort of harbored a grudge. I mean, I was just an angry child at that age. But I learned, you know, how to cuss and how to yell and all of this. And that sort of kept the molesters away from me because I was the one that was going to tell it. And I was going to tell everybody I came across. So after a while, you know, I had just took on this attitude and I carried it on with me into my teens, which created some problems for me because the older people wasn't going for that disrespect. And when I say it took a village to raise a child, my mom is the oldest of 12 siblings, and then she had 9 kids. So if she didn't feel like beating me, my aunts had no problem coming. And so as I got older, I stayed in so much of trouble in school that I ended up getting kicked out of the school in Virginia, and I had to go and graduate in Ohio. And that's
Well, you know, I mean, what you just all explained, I could swear that was the beginning of my testimonial when I first came on, you know, positivepower21.org. But yeah, we've walked kind of the same footsteps, just in a different time, in a different place. But I absolutely, you know, feel you, because once something has been done to you that has not been given to you and has been taken from you, like, you have that mind frame that you don't have a voice. And then when you go to tell somebody and they look at you like you crazy, and everything that happens, you know, in the dark, I don't know, I always say that it's going to come to light at some point in time in your life. So it's like when you finally find that voice, you want people to know. You want to be able to do what you weren't able to do when that person was taking your innocence and taking advantage of a situation that was not right. So I completely understand. understand.
And when I write my books, I write because I want the younger generations to know that I listen, you know, because nobody listened to me. But that's not how I got in all of the trouble I got into as an adult, because I didn't get in trouble until I was 30. So the whole time I was in the military, I did exceedingly well. And then I got pregnant, and then I got out of the military, and I ended up going to New York, where I got pregnant again and had another child. And so I had the resources as far as getting jobs and stuff. It wasn't that easy. So when I got out of the military at 88, I didn't find a job. So I found a man that I thought was going to be the way, and that didn't happen. So, I mean, I've experienced a lot of things, and I try to talk about them. I try to shed light with the younger generation, because I want them to know that a lot of stuff will look good to you, but it's not.
Right.
It's a quick fix. Follow in my footsteps, because I'll tell you my story gladly.
Right,
I'd rather tell it to you up front than have you sitting behind bars hollering if only somebody had us.
Yeah, and you don't want anybody to go down. It's kind of like you want to be that person to warn them so that they don't go down and have to suffer that pain, and be able to kind of sidestep it so that, you know what I'm saying, you don't, because you never want to see anybody go through kind of what we went through as a child, because you're never the same. Yeah.
That is my greatest, I wrote the book, A Brother's Secret. And when I wrote that book, a lot of people kept inboxing me, and some of them were saying, oh, I can relate, and the other ones was hollering, well, why did that person stay that long? Apparently nothing has happened to those people in their life where the fear alone kept them stagnated. And the person was scared. It was fear. And if you didn't have anybody, outlet or nobody to talk to, you'll stay stuck in fear too.
Right.
And that's why I wrote that story, because I wanted people to know that these things do happen. But when they happen, you have to be a stronger person and reach out. It took the person in the book a while to do it, but she got to the point where she finally told somebody, and things started changing for the good for her.
Yeah, and I feel you. I absolutely feel you on that, because I know at a young age, and I had to really, because once something like that happens, it's like you have to assess the situation as you get older, so you can kind of really, really process it. And I knew as a young child that, you know, because I'm an adopted, and I got adopted into a family, and then they adopted 2 boys also. So when my innocence was stolen from me by both of my brothers, it was like, you know, I didn't have an outlet. I didn't have anybody to talk to. And the woman that had actually adopted me kind of took it was like a negative spin out of nowhere, and she was not that mother figure. So when you say, and I say it all day, every day, it took a village to raise this child right here into the woman I am today. It was like each individual woman that I came across that I respected, I took a piece of them and I implemented into who I am today because my adopted mother was not, she didn't have those mother instincts, and I had to kind of raise self. So I really get you on that. I really commend you on giving back and using your voice and using the pen speaks volumes. So if they're not hearing you, they don't want to talk to you, hear you, you can write it out, you can type it out, you can do all that, but they're going to hear you one way or another. If they acknowledge it or not, and if they, own up to what it is they did, that's something totally different. But at least you've got that burden off of your heart and your mind.
Exactly.
And it's been like, after you left the Army, you had 2 beautiful children. And so where did you end up going from there? Where were you at in your life then?
I was in New York, and then I ended up coming here. I came to Virginia and began to get in trouble.
What kind of trouble, though? There's trouble, and there's trouble. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a butt whooping trouble where you get a couple lashes, and then there's trouble where you end up with the law and you incarcerated.
I got in trouble with the law.
Okay.
After I got back to Virginia, and both of my kids were asthmatic, and so my daughter, she was 8, and then I had a son who was only a baby. And so I had went to try to get some help. I wasn't even trying to get public assistance. I just wanted the hospital to treat him, and they kept saying that they couldn't treat him because I didn't have any no medical benefits. I was out of the military. So I ended up having to go down to City Hall and show out.
Okay.
So I went to City Hall, and I told them, listen, I served this country for 10 years, and you mean to tell me you can't give me help with my son? I fought for people that I didn't even know. And I had to go to the congressman in Virginia.
Right. Oh, wow.
They gave me a Medicaid card, and they gave me food stamps and a check. And all I wanted was the medical.
Yeah. Because it's really hard out there now, especially after. And I just want to say, thank you for serving your country. You know what I'm saying? Unbeknownst to what you were really getting into, you still were in there to win it for 6 years. And, I mean, you enlisted for 6 years, but you stayed for 10.
And ended up doing 10. But, I mean, it was just, I was just really angry at the point that when I got out, it was like there's no resources for people that get out of the military if you take these crazy MOSs when you go in, because they don't need anybody to be working on no helicopters out here. Those people are at the airport, and most of those jobs are already taken. And so I had to think. I had a lot to think about. So I was living with from pillar to post with my son, and I ended up getting a project. But I knew then that was going to be my downfall, because I've never been into that easy living scene. I've always had to work, and with this, you paying $50, $60 for rent, and that was just too much to time to do nothing. And so I ended up hanging out with the wrong crowd and went from drinking beer and smoking weed to smoking dust and crack. And I ended up getting running in with the police. Was put on probation. When I was put on probation, they gave me 2 years probation, and so I had to keep running down there and taking P tests. And they was like, I'm like, how can I get a job when you put me on the color? They come up every other day.
Okay, and you scared to call in because you got to call in between a certain time, and you just know they're gonna call your color, right?
Yeah, I'm like, they put me on black, and I was like, is that against the color? That color comes up. The color was coming up so much, I told the lady, and I was real honest with her. Ma'am, I didn't even look for a job. Because every time I set up an appointment to go on a job interview, my color came up, and I had to get all the way back on the other side of town on the bus.
Right.
So I ended up getting into, so after I even got through finally got through that, I ended up trying to sell crack. And
to supplement your income that you were getting.
Yeah,
you were
I
getting,
did that for a little bit. And
right.
The money looked good, so I kept on saying, God, I'm going to do this one more time. God, I'm going to get rid of this. God, I'm going to do this. God, I'm going to do that. And the police ended up jumping out on me in one part of Virginia while they was raiding my house in another part. So I actually went to jail twice in one night.
Oh, wow. And so then you ended up, when you ended up going to jail, that's when they kept you? Were you incarcerated? Shut the front door. What?
My lawyer, I paid this lawyer a $30,000 lawyer, and he said, well, my client did 10 years in the military. The judge stopped him midstream and said, and now she's going to do 10 years in the state penitentiary.
Oh, wow.
I've been in jail before, so I look at this lawyer, and I'm like, who is he talking about?
Okay. That ain't me.
First time in my life, I could not understand you're not going home. I never could get that. I just couldn't grasp her that this man was telling me they were going to lock me up.
Right, right.
I mean, I went in there. I had on the finest of jewelry, the finest of clothes. I had on them nice Italian leather shoes that didn't make noise when you went across the floor. And they put it all in a bag. They
right.
mail it to.
Oh, stop the madness.
And that was the lowest point for me. And when they locked me up and the women were in there fighting, this is my territory, and this, I began to pray. Because I knew something was wrong, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I going to come in a jail?
Yeah, how did I get here? Like, what did I do to get here? Right, like, what had happened?
And that was when I got spiritually connected right back to God. And I knew then that God was trying to get my attention. He had sent me every warning under the sun, and I just overlooked him.
Right.
And now he shut me completely down, and I'm sitting in here with 25 different crazy women talking about this is my corner and don't come over here and don't. I'm like, you know what? I am not going to be fighting on no territory in no jail because I don't belong here.
Okay.
Come to find out these people was coming back and forth. As soon as they do a 3-year bid, they could give it 6 months and they was back for another 3 years. I'm like, no. I'm not going to do that. So I prayed hard every day and all day. So I ended up getting a drug program. Mm-hmm. And when I got into the drug program, things started looking up. One of the guards there, he had called me down because my sister was locked up with me.
Oh, okay.
So he called me down, and he said, well, I couldn't understand why I was coming out that time of night. And that was because he wanted me to see that they were shipping my sister to the state penitentiary.
Oh,
and I was like, wow.
Wow. That's not a wake-up call.
Wow, because, you know, all my life I had been the person that sort of she sold drugs too in the street. But I was always the person that if you did something to her, they knew I was coming. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, well, it's nothing I can do this round because this is truly out of my control.
Okay.
I can't open up the door and telling people don't take my sister.
Right.
And then I didn't even know what was going to become of me. So I was more worried about, okay, Lord, you done took her. What y'all going to do with me? I don't want no bus coming to pick me up in the middle of the night talking about you on your way. On my way where?
Right. Right.
So, I mean, one thing I'll say that I got out of going to jail, I would never be going back. That's what I got. Because I could that sit down, get up, lock in, lock up. I'm like, dude, I'm already locked in jail. Please don't say the word lock to me again.
Okay.
I mean, I couldn't understand how these people were so, and they like stand out there and we're going to count you. And, I mean, they treated you, that jail is like, it was not a place for humans.
Right.
And I just couldn't grasp for that. I just couldn't get that.
Right. They want to kind of break you down. They want to break you down to let you know, you're nobody, and you're definitely nobody here but a number.
You couldn't even use your name.
Right,
Your name.
And
they kept on saying they would call these numbers, and me, I'm dumbfounded because I ain't never been here before. Mm-hmm. And they like, you don't know your number. I'm not trying to remember this. This is the point of my life. I'm trying to put it all behind me. So when they would call my number, I would never know that. Then it had so many numbers in there. I'm like, look, can't y'all find something different for me?
Nah.
Give me a yellow flag or something. This is just too much.
I know they don't want to hear that. Oh, you think you go get extra special attention too?
She ran.
Oh,
I know where she at. This ain't the Hilton.
Okay.
I'm saying to myself, I don't know what this is, and I don't even know how I got here. But it all came to me because I remember back, and that's the one thing. If you have to always keep up front where you came from, where you been, where you going.
Right.
When I got the detox, I was 30 years old, and I was weighing 72 pounds, and I had on 2 pair of pants rolled up, and I thought I was the best thing going. So the people there, they said, yeah, she's still high.
No, see, they always want to, when you're doing good and you know that you're praying and you know that you're trying to stay on the right path and stay in his light. And the thing is that you saw the signs. He gave you the signs. But the thing that I take from that, and that I've taken from that with him, with me, is that if I don't pay attention to his first sign, he will bump my head harder again and make the repercussions worse than they were the last time.
You'll know.
Exactly. And it keeps going like that till I get tired of bumping my head and I got a big old lump on it. So, people just have to be very cognizant and very open-minded and also know that there is a higher power. They believe in a higher power and that they can see the signs that he sends us. Because so many people are just walking around here aimlessly. Right.
That's a lot of people's downfall, that they don't see that those signs, those warning signs. God did everything except for tap me on the back and say, listen, you are headed down the wrong street. Put me on probation. I had never been in the jail system before. They let me get off of probation. These were all signs. Even when the car almost hit me coming across the street with the rocks in my hand, and it was a jump out. He ran right past me and got the dude up on the corner. I mean, I had every sign. I just didn't pay attention to him.
Right. Because, at that point in time, you weren't in that right frame of mind, that open, you were one-track mind. At that point in time, you were on survival mode, because it's about survival of the fittest, especially where you were living. So you're trying to still take care of your kids. You're trying to put a roof over your head. You're trying to food and all that.
And I have always been that kind of person to try to take care of people. And in my addiction, the police, when they had jumped out on me, and I was waiting for my trial to go to court, and I got hooked up with this little 15-year-old girl. And she was a pretty little girl, and I just couldn't understand, why are you out here selling your body for crack that you don't even get to smoke? Because the women that got you out here tricking, they're sitting in there waiting for you to come back with the stuff so they can smoke. And so I would always give her money. I would give her drugs, just to keep her from turning tricks. And she said to me one day, she said, Miss Lady, why come you always trying to help me? I said, because I just don't want to see nothing happen to you. She said, well, I'm going to die anyway. And I looked at her, I said, we all going to die one day. She said, but I'm going to die sooner than you think because I have AIDS.
Oh, is this Miss Davis you're talking about?
This is one of the 15-year-old little girl.
Right, because I know that you said that you, in her bio, I read that you had a pupil that overdosed, and I didn't know if this was her. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
6 months after they locked me up, I had called. I didn't even call home. I was called. Somebody else had called home, and they told the person to tell me that they found her dead in the bathroom at her house. 15. And I cried and I prayed and I cried and I just asked God, I said, God, just give me one more time, just one more chance to help these young people. Because where we live at, there are a lot of young kids that's just going the wrong way because their parents are using drugs, or they don't have time for their kids, or their parents never taught them anything, so they can't teach their kids anything. And so the kids take well to me because they already know I'll give them everything I have. But I'm not giving for you to go do something bad with.
Right.
And I just prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And out of that 10 years, I did 13 months in the county jail. And I went to a program, and I stayed there 10 months. And then I left there going into transitional housing because I knew that in order for me to get back to who I used to be, I had to do a lot of stuff. I had to go through the valley and fight the storm and the snowstorms and everything else because I couldn't go back to where I came from because I wouldn't have given myself a chance to do anything except for use drugs or sell drugs. And
plus
so
you needed, I'm sorry,
I
go ahead.
away from where I live.
But plus you kind of need those, you know what I'm saying, when you go through what you've been through, and I've been through the same thing, the same route, you have to find specific tools that can help you cope with the things that you don't have anymore. And you need to be able to implement them at the right time, at the right place, so that you can stay in that mode that you're in, that survival mode that it seems like from what I've read and hearing you talk, that it's been most of your life. Yeah. So you've been in that mode. So it's just getting those tools to be able to help you, segue into the next level of your life where there is, at the end of the day, the next level, there's another deeper, darker devil. So you have to stay in that mind frame. So the transitional houses helped you? Did it help you, go to classes?
I was able to get a job, and I got a job working for the city of Alexandria. And I had been on that. I went through a temp agency. I had been on that job like maybe a year and 3 or 4 months. And they came to me one day and they said, because you have a felony, you can't work. We can't employ you. And I was like, wow, thank you for the opportunity. And I left.
Wow.
And I went somewhere else, and I got another job, and I put on the paper up front, I had a possession with intent to distribute charge, which is a felony in the state of Virginia, and I made it clear up front so they wouldn't let me work all that time and then just tell me they had to fire me.
Right.
And so I did that, and I saved up my money, so at the end of the year I had enough of money to get a 2-bedroom apartment and to get me a car. And I got a 1996 Galant, and the year was 1996.
Well, what a blessing that was. That's a subliminal sign. That's beautiful.
He will definitely do it for you.
Okay.
So I got that. I said, okay, I started going to church every Sunday. I was in church. I'm like, God provided me freedom, and he provided me a ride to get there. There's no excuse why I can't go to church.
Right,
so I went every Sunday, and I prayed. That's one thing. I come from a praying family. They do a lot of side stuff, but they pray. And I just prayed, and I stayed in the place where I was at over in Oxon Hill, Maryland. I stayed there for 12 years, and I met my husband. And we stayed together 20 years and got married 4 years ago.
Wow, that's longevity for you. Okay. That's a blessing. Congratulations.
God puts people in your life. And the guy that I married was the director of the drug facility.
Wow.
So that was all I need. That was a sign, God confirmation right there.
And everything happens for a reason. Right. That is amazing. He kind of lined your ducks up in a row, not probably in the way you would have wanted it, but it was in a lesson type of motivational type of epiphany type of, get your stuff together because I'm not going to give you too many more chances. Right.
Exactly. And, I just look I don't even try to do young girls. I do the young girls, the young men, all of the young people, because we have a lot of that. Every time you come on the news, young people are toting guns. They have no clue as to what they're doing to themselves. Down the road, when you go out there and you looking real good and dressed real good, and you go up to a person and say you're looking for a job, and they say you have a felony, and as soon as you mark it, they say we not hiring. That becomes a problem because that tears down your self-esteem, your motivation, your determination, and all of that.
Right. Because you don't know where to turn next. Right.
You gravitate back to what you know.
Right.
Which is
right.
And so I tell these kids all the time, and I'm trying to make A Brother's Secret a movie. And once I get to the point where I'm ready to make that movie, I'm going to use the little kids that I work with in the area where I live at. I'm going to let them star in the movie.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is it the children, because I know you do motivational speaking now, is it a foundation where people can give back to? So let us know.
I have a foundation called Untapped Voices, and it gives the kids a platform. They do stand-up poetry, they do praise dancing, they sing, they read, they write. And, you know, I go to the recs around here, the recreation centers around here, and I just grab a group of kids, and that day I'll sit and I'll talk with these kids. And, you know, what is it you want to do? Because a lot of these kids have stories, but they don't have a clue as to how to get the story told. So I tell them my story, and I show them my company. I have 12 books, and they're all ready to be released. I have 3 with the editor and 2 that's getting ready to come out now, and I already have 4. And I wanted to tell one story. I wanted to tell that little 15-year-old girl story. And God blessed me with the patience to keep this going. And then it became a business for me because I wasn't going to pay anybody else to publish my book when I can publish my own book. So I started my own publishing company.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, because how does that feel, like finally having something of your own that you know, that you started, that you are helping others, you're giving back, and you are loving it. So it's kind of a breakthrough.
It feels wonderful because I go around people and they'll say, God will do it. And you are living proof that he'll do it. Because 20 years ago, when we saw you, you didn't look nothing like this. You ain't had no Benz. You didn't even have a job. And now I work in the government. And I'm the supervisor. And I work with disabled company because I have scoliosis, so they got me a job. And when I talk to the people, they always say, you don't look like a person with disabilities. So I ask them, so what does a person with a disability
look like? Exactly. Yeah.
And they like, well, you just speak too good to be disabled. And I be thinking to myself, and that's one thing that I'm praying for God to help me with. Because when I think it, I say it. And I'm like, I don't have a mental disability. I have a physical disability, and really it ain't even a physical disability because I'm not claiming it. So, back to the question, what does a disabled person look like?
Yeah.
They couldn't explain that one.
They couldn't explain that, you know, because you can't really explain it. Because at the end of the day, I know that with what I've been through in life, like I wouldn't call myself disabled, but you know, I would say that, you know, I know that I've been diagnosed as a manic depressive, you know, with severe anxiety. So I know that, you know, there's things that I have to do to make sure that I'm still in the moment and that I use those tools that we talked about and the coping mechanisms to get myself up every day, to get myself through the things that my mind tricks me into thinking that aren't really going on. So at the end of the day, like you said, what does a disabled person look like? What does that look like? Because when people look at me, they seem to think that, oh, she doesn't have a problem. Everything's great for her. You know, look at what she's doing, what she's driving, who she's with. And I always tell people I'm flawed up from the floor up all day, every day, and I'm a work in progress. So you know, when somebody out there, if anybody's listening, if y'all could tell me besides physicalities what a disabled person looks like or they sound like, holla at a sister because I would like to know myself.
Holla at this sister too because I mean. Every day, it's like for me, I've been in NA since 1994. I'm clean and sober.
Congratulations.
Progress. Every single day, I have to get up and give thanks to God because it's nothing that I did. It's all his work because I spent my time trying to kill myself. when I was out there smoking and using and snorting dope and stuff, I wasn't thinking about no Jesus, and I definitely wasn't thinking about no NA.
Right.
And so now that's the first thing that came to my mind. Thank you, Lord, because with your help, I've made it another day. And I take it one day at a time. Every day I live it one day at a time.
Me too. Because you can only live in the moment. Yeah, you can only live in the moment and at that time. Because I can't plan for anything because I don't know how I'm going to be thinking tomorrow. I don't know, what's going to pop off because I feel like my life changes at a phone call, a knock on the door, an email, just going outside to walk my little dogs just for a second. Anything pops off with T out here in Hollywood. So
my husband says, how you feel today? I'm like, well, I have my good days and I have my bad days. When it rains, I'm pained up.
Right.
And I try not to take anything except for an Excedrin or a Tylenol out just over the counter. And I have to remind myself that, listen, God can do everything. He said it in his word. All I got to do is believe. So on those days when I'm pained up, I take some Excedrin, and I be praying with them Excedrins on the inside. Okay, God, I just had to take them to just keep me calm until you finish.
Right.
And that's what I do. And I'm like, hey, I don't even want to take anything that's going to change my thinking or my feelings because that's going to send me back to what I like to feel like. And and I know it. And
it's a trigger. That's a good thing. Yeah.
I'm publishing this little girl's book. She's 8, and the name of her book is called Janae's Praises. She praise dances and she sings for the church. So I asked her, I said, so why do you sing and dance at the church? She said, because I'm trying to win souls for Jesus. She's 8.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, okay. And we go to the same church. And I went there, and she grabbed the mic, and she sang. And it must have been about 400 or 500 people in the church. And she stepped up there just like Beyonce and started singing. And I was just blown. Because I was like, the average kid is going to be scared. There's too many people. There's too many people for me to get up and sing.
Right.
She sang, and then she dances, and it's a lot of kids in the church. And once her book is released, I'm sure their parents is going to want to get books and stuff done, too, because when you think about it, when a kid gets grown, this is something she can give her children.
Right.
So I'm like, that God is really good. I'm telling you, I have come from a very large family. I have 6 brothers and sisters. Well, I have 9 brothers and sisters. And it's like 120 grandkids in my family. And we're at the top of the 123 because my mother is the oldest of 12 kids.
Wow.
And so, I mean, we have just so much. We got the perverts. We got the saints. We got the wannabe saints. We got the goody-goodies. We got the bad people. We got them all. So I just got to find a place and get in where I fit in.
Oh, I love her. Absolutely.
Look, your family, they special. Well, so was mine. We got them all. You name them, we got them.
Almost every family does. At the end of the day, yeah, you just never know because what goes on behind closed doors usually stays behind closed doors.
Right.
Emphatically in the African American community. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to say, and it's like a ho hum thing. Like, it happened to me. It's happened to all the kids. Well, it ain't gonna keep happening to me, and I'm not gonna say nothing about it. I'm tired of holding everybody's secrets in. It's making me sick.
That's what I was telling my mom. Because I'm also doing my autobiography called Trial by the Fire.
Right.
And I'm just talking about, what started it all. And it talks about me being molested and me trying to tell, the person that was supposed to have been loving me and taking care of me. And, and I just always felt like I was the black sheep of the family and I didn't understand it, but now I do that I'm grown. Every time my mom had 9 kids, and every summer I would be the loner kid. She would loan me to my uncle and aunt, for the summer and call it a vacation. Now that I'm grown, I realize she thought she was sending me on a vacation. but she was sending me into the pit of the devil, and she didn't know it. So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But and I said, I'm a 60s baby, and they did more secrets and keeping secret stuff in the 60s. I told my kids when they got old, I'm the only person you need to come and tell. I ain't keeping no secret. I'm going to expose them for what they are. I won't see this go another generation. We're going to break this chain right here. And that's what we do. My daughter's going to school to be a doctor. And since I've been clean, I've been able to see it. And when I was locked up, that was one of the best memories of my life. I was locked up, and my daughter was getting the key to the state of Ohio in the 6th grade. And she didn't even know that they was going to let me out to come.
Oh.
She got up there to the stage to receive it. She looked up and saw me and ran clean off the stage. She didn't wait on no key. She ran down to get her mother because she hadn't seen me in a year.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And to this day, she right here. And my mom had to raise my son because I was in so much of trouble, and they weren't going to let nobody just take my kids, so my son been with my mom. And so we go there back and forth to Ohio to see him. He comes here. And, I mean, he's going to OSU. So in spite of everything that I did, my kids made out okay.
Right, because you had a strong family unit that stood behind you, you know, so, and they were there for your best interests and, you know, your heart, because you, from what I've, you know, read and did my background work, like you are really, you're really pure at what you talk about, and you affect people, and you are with such conviction that, you know, but it is your story. It is your life, and it is your journey. So people have to respect that at the end of the day, regardless is if they agree with you, if they believe you, whatever they want to know. They can't say anything about what you've been through, your experiences, your path, and what has brought you back to the Lord and has made you have that connection where he is definitely in your life all day, every day today.
All day, every day.
Absolutely.
I need him every day because it is so, the devil, if you leave a crack, just a little bit of light, he comes right on in. So I shut the lights out quick. Luke, you can't come here.
Okay.
Don't do it. No, sir, I cannot have him come and disrupting my foundation. And I know how easy it can be. I mean, you could be looking the devil square in the face and not know it's the devil. So if I see him, I'm going to meet him in church. Because that's where I'm going. That's exactly where he can find me at. And I just try to tell my kids, I did the research for you guys. It don't work. That drinking and drugging thing, it don't work. All it is trouble. And at the end of the day, you're going to need your mama's help. So take my help up front. Don't do it.
Right.
And I had 2 great kids. I've had no problems out of neither one of them. And then, again, they know who their mama is. So, and I just go, I scoop up the little kids around here, and I sit down, and I just tell them, let's talk about what you're going to be when you get grown.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they see me driving the Benz. I said, let me tell you the story about the Benz. I have worked, and I continue to work to pay for that. Nobody gave it to me.
Right.
And if you notice, it's a 2002, and we're in 2015.
So
don't give me a lot of credit. I just got a car, and if they charge me one more outrageous price to keep it running, I'll trade that and get a bucket. I have no problem driving a bucket.
Okay, that just goes from where you've been and how you got there, and you knew where you came from. So you are humble. You are really good at heart, and you have not forgot the trials and tribulations that have got you to where you are in this day and age. So that's a special thing, because sometimes when people they lose track once they got through that hump and they get through that bump and they prayed so much and they asked him for so much, then they seem to forget.
Get on their feet and forget all about them.
Exactly, and they ain't on their knees anymore. Right. Don't take it to the phone. Take it to the throne. Okay. At the end of the day, that's what people really need to do, and stay in that, because life is fleeting. And we don't have much time here, so you know.
You better look at that's I'm a firm believer of that, and I'll be reading Revelations, and I'll be saying God said all these things, and if you look around, all these things happening now.
Right.
So if you're not right, you better get right.
So get you some right somewhere, because you know He's not playing. Like, you know.
I tell them, you ain't going, you ain't trying to see Jesus, I am, okay?
Yeah,
so I can't go that route.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
All right, ladies. It's time for us to get
you're still here, Jerry?
Show. I'm engineering. Who you think engineering? All right. Well, I just want to say, Kimberly, you guys had a great show, and you know, you guys was carrying it. But I just want you to think about your closing remarks. We're ready to take a quick station break.
Okay.
I had so many more questions.
Yeah, but it's only an hour show.
I didn't even know we had been on an hour.
Y'all been talking 45 minutes. Yeah. Airtime costs money, baby. That's right. Airtime costs money. All right. So we're gonna take a quick break, and when you come back, you can go ahead and give us the how people get your book.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because actually, you got about 7 more minutes. So okay.
Okay.
All right. Quick station break. All right. Here we go.
Hi, if you're struggling with your relationship or you just can't seem to find the right one, author Gerald Manuel has written an enlightening new book entitled How to Identify Your Spiritual Soulmate. You may order a copy today from Amazon.com or at BarnesandNoble.com. This book is sure to answer many of the questions you may have. Thank you and God bless you.
You can break my things, but you can't break my pride. I'd rather find the light than sit and dying inside. I'd rather fight the war, I never run and hide. Used to think that life might have a lesson. Sitting alone, I never thought they count my blessings. Stressing, now I hold the word in my possession. Just another way for me to deal with my depression. See, people get caught up in the world of pain. All they do is lose, none of the things to gain. No regrets for the life that's living in shame. Gotta change yourself before you put in the sight of his aim.
listening to PositivePower21.org with Jerry Royce.
Lord help me and save me from my wicked ways. Give me one more chance, Lord, and let this be my holy resurrection. I have fallen so many times, Lord, that now it seems harder and harder to rise once again. I need your help. I need your strength. I need your support. I need your love. There was a time when my smile radiated like the morning sun, and words of hope and love were so eagerly sung. I remember there was a time I used to be able to run, perhaps not like the wind, but I still had use of these aching limbs. That was before I broke myself from within. Pain stings me now with each step, as I leave yet another heavy footprint on the path of my own regrets. I was young, I was foolish, I was selfish, I was dumb, yet still you were there to help me in my absurdity and allow me to overcome. I realize now I am still that ignorant child, and I am so ashamed to be your son. So many hurdles that I laid before my own feet. I took for granted so much over the years, and became a slave to my own demons and fears. Please tell me that my words do not fall upon deaf ears. I have asked before for your guidance and assistance, and though there were so many times you offered me a better way, another road to ease the weight of this aching load, I showed resistance. Perhaps I was too afraid of the dreaded act of change. It's all so strange to me now, as I recall all the pain from whence I came. Each breath now, as before, is a sacred gift, but now at times it burns my lungs. What have I done to myself? What have I become? Just an aging fool who was too ignorant and self-indulgent to follow the ways of your golden rules. Heal my heart, that at times screams and pounding agony within my chest. Repair its broken clasp. Let me wield thy art and bleed sovereign blood, and let it pump hard like the murmur of my damaged mass. Free me at last from these shackles of sorrow that I've worn in silent shame for so long. Teach me, O Father, how to be strong, how to stop doing so much wrong, and sing thy song for all the heavens to hear, rather than hide myself from me and slither in the demeaning shadows in the filthy company of deceit and lies. Hold me in your arms and keep me safe for another lonely night, until I am there by your side in the healing home of your kingdom of light. Reshape me, mold me, make me whole, create me anew. Let me be what I was dreamt of in my conception, as I was held in the eyes of my mother's view. Let me be a symbol of salvation and a reflection of you. So please, Lord, help me as these tears begin to fall once more. Show me my humble worth. Reanimate me in thy blessed holy image while I still have time upon this earth. And please, let me live again. Lord, help me and save me from my wicked ways. Give me one more chance, Lord, and let this be my holy resurrection.
Hey, this is director-producer Alan Wills, and I am on Positive Power 21 with Jerry Royce Live. And when I'm online, I listen to Jerry Royce Live at www.spreaker.com/positivepower21.org. Y'all heard?
All right. We talking to k-l-thornton, and she got a new book out called A Brother's Secret. All right, get it. Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or you can get it from parksdavispublication.com.
All right. Well, T, it's time to close out the show. So we'll get KL's final thoughts, and then we get yours, okay? And then we done.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, great show, ladies.
It was a pleasure being on your show. I really enjoyed myself. I enjoyed Lady T, and I enjoyed you, Jerry.
Yeah.
We got to do this again.
Yeah, that's right. This was T's show, actually, Tee-spence show.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this is T.
He's just being nice. He's helped me out tremendously. Like, he's made things a very easy transition. So I'm definitely blessed to be on Positive Power, part of their team, their family. It's been very welcoming, eye-opening. And, he's just a down-to-earth, cool type of dude who wants a Rolls Royce.
No, I want a Maybach.
I knew you were going to say that. A Maybach. You ain't Rick Ross.
Help you get there.
Yeah.
No, I don't need all of that. That's too much attention. I know what I want. I put it out there already, so it should be happening pretty soon.
Okay.
Pretty soon. So right now I'm happy, riding around my little Jeep and my company car, my little Toyota. It gets good gas mileage. So that's, we got to save money,
Okay. Let me tell you about them big foreign cars, honey. When you get up there to get that nice little window shield, it costs like $1,400.
Yeah,
wow.
We got rid of cars today.
I'm about to get rid of this one. Go get me a bucket. It's a whole lot cheaper to keep her.
Yeah.
Never cheaper to keep her. Never cheaper to keep her.
It's not cheaper to keep her. It's not.
Cheaper to keep her. Yes.
All right, well, we
you guys,
glad to
I had
have
a
you.
blast. I really enjoyed myself.
Awesome. All right, T. Close us out, babe. Close us out.
Well, I would just like to thank everybody for tuning in on Tea Time Thursdays with Jerry Voice Live worldwide and the amazing, outstanding, motivational, inspirational Miss k-l-thornton, who is a publisher and has made so many. She's just jumped so many hurdles that she is an inspiration to anybody who's listening, and even to me. I was so excited about you, and even listening to you and your story, like, it resonated so much that I just want to thank you for coming on and gracing us with your presence and, just making yourself available, open and honest, and just really transparent. That's what people need to hear. They need to hear that realness, that people have been through what you've gone through and came out on the other side, with God's grace and, with His power and His love. So thank you very much, and you are welcome on my show anytime you want to. Carte blanche.
All right.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys, so we about to close out.
Okay.
So I tell everybody all the time, T, they got to listen to Tea Time now with T-spence. From Hollywood. She's part of the Positive Power. That's right. She's part of the Positive Power 21.org global network. That's right, yo. We going after 150 countries.
I know that's right. Go.
All right. Okay. All right. So amen.
I'm going to tune in all those countries, too. I'm going to tune in and listen.
Well, they're already listening to you. About 20-something of them listening to you right now, so we good. All right, everybody, take care. And I tell them, KO, I tell people all the time, I'm Jerry Voice Live. I'm worldwide.
Bye, Cam.
Bye.
/Positive Power 21. You crazy. It's a Voice Enterprises production. And don't forget about replay on Facebook. All right, hold tight, K. We got to do some work. Jerry Voice Live. T. Hold on.